Dane Pastor from Bachelor of Elementary Education, a second-year student of Cagayan State University. Now, I'm one of the reporter for today. So, the Philippines, being an archipelago, offers a countless of destinations to see, adventures to experience, and activities to do. The country is blessed with a rich environment, lush forests, tropical islands, white sand beach, lakes, rivers, mountains, and most important is a friendly, artistic, and hardworking people who are always happy to welcome visitors. Class, welcome to the Philippines, the land of smiling beauty. Today, we will learn the physical characteristics of the Philippines, geography, and resources. Class, when you think of geography, what's come to your mind? Is it memorizing maps and capital? No, that's not all geography is. It's actually much more. Geography is all about the connection of humans with spaces and places, physical properties of the country such as mountain range and bodies of water. Geography seeks to understand how physical landscape shape the human history. So this lesson will examine the geographical features and resources in the Philippines. The Philippines, found in the Western Pacific Ocean, it has an 4 degrees 23 minutes to 21 degrees 25 minutes latitude and 116 degrees to 127 degrees longitude. It is situated in the southern portion of Asia. Taiwan bounds the country on the north, and on the west South China Sea and Vietnam, on the east by the Pacific Ocean, on the south by the Celebes Sea and Indonesia, and on the southwest by Malaysia and Singapore. Because of its central location in the Far East, the Philippines has been dubbed as the crossroad of the Pacific. Our country is an archipelago of more than 7,107 islands, covering nearly 300,000 square kilometers. It is located between the South China Sea in the west and the Philippine Sea in the east. And as I've researched, the Philippine today's official count currently sits at 7,641 island. Isa sa mga island in our country is Coron, Palawan, Cebu, Boracay, Siargao, Bohol, hundreds islands, natural park, Pangasinan, and many more. Manila is the capital and the largest city of the country. The city is the center of the country's economic, political, social, and cultural activity. It is located on the island of Luzon and spreads along the eastern shore of Manila Bay at the mouth of the Pasig River. Did you know, guys, that Manila is the richest city in the country? Now, on the move to strip Manila of its status as the country's capital city. Country's islands are divided into three main groups: the Luzon, Visayas, and the Mindanao. Luzon, the biggest of the three major geographical groups, has an area of 141,395 square kilometers. Luzon sits at the northern end of the Philippines, and it is the country's largest and most populous island. It is known for its mountain, beaches, and coral reefs, and is home to Manila, the national capital city of the Philippines. The Visayas has an area of 56,606 square kilometers. It is a cluster of islands in the middle of archipelago. The Mindanao, with an area of 101,000 999 square kilometers. Being the second largest island group next to Luzon, Mindanao has been dubbed the country's land of promise for its untapped, promising natural resources. It has become globally known for being a home to the surf capital of the country, a famous highly urbanized city, and jaw-dropping beaches. The northernmost point of the country is Eyami Island, or the Mavulis Island, is the northernmost of the Batanes Island. The island is uninhabited, but it is guarded by the military. It is also frequently visited by local fishermen for fishing adventures. This island has a newly constructed military and fisherman shelter, a water desalination plant, a helipad lighthouse, and a flagpole on the top of the hill in the island. The island also hosts the northernmost flagpole in the country. The Saluwag Island is located in the province of Tawi-Tawi, only 34 miles east of Borneo, in the autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao, Philippines. The island belongs administratively to the municipality of Sibutu and in the southernmost island in the Philippines. The Philippines is in the middle of two opposing tectonic plates, making it prone to seismic activity between tectonic plates is a zone known as fault. We all know that the Philippines lies along the Pacific Ring of Fire, which causes the country to have frequent seismic and volcanic activity. Many earthquakes or smaller magnitude occur very regularly due to the meeting of major tectonic plates in the region. The Philippine Fault stretches from Luzon to the tip of Mindanao. The 1,200-kilometer-long Philippine Fault Zone is a major tectonic feature that transects the whole Philippine archipelago from northwestern Luzon to southeast-western Mindanao. The Marikina Valley Fault System, which is located 5 kilometers east of Metro Manila, branch from the Philippine Fault. The west segment of Marikina Fault was resolved to be almost fully locked, meaning it is currently accumulating and loading elastic strain at the rate of 10 to 12 months or years, 12 to 10 months year. The fault poses a threat of a large-scale earthquake with an estimated magnitude between 6 to 7 and as high as 7.62 Metro Manila and surrounding provinces, with death toll predicted to be as high as 35,000 and some 120,000 or higher injured, and more than 3 million needed to be evacuated. The Philippines also has the longest irregular coastline in the world, 36,290 kilometers in length. The fact that the Philippines is an archipelago, touted as having the longest coastline in the world, and with a tectonic setting considered as one among the most active in the world. Our country is therefore susceptible to ceaseless coastal process. And as I said a while ago, the Philippines has the longest discontinuous coastline in the world. It has 61 natural harbors with 20 landlocked straits. The Manila Bay, the finest natural harbor in the Far East, is an asset which has given metropolitan Manila a locational advantage for rapid industrial development. Palawan, which forms the country's western boundary, has a total of 1,768 islands. Palawan is an archipelago province of the Philippines that is located in the region of Mimaropa. It is the largest province in the country in terms of total area of 14,649.73 km. The Palawan is also known as the Philippines' best island. It has marvelous subterranean caves, unexplored dive sites, unpolluted beaches, and dense tropical jungle. It is also a sanctuary to a variety of fauna and flora. The island province of Palawan has been declared as a native sanctuary of the world, and for good reason. It is wrapped in a mantle of rainforests, outstanding dive sites, majestic mountains, primeval caves, and pristine beaches, and it is surrounded by a coral shelf that abounds with varied and colorful marine life. Palawan also has many species of plants and animals that are endemic and found nowhere else on earth but here in the Palawan. The country has 16 regions, which include the Ilocos region, Cagayan region, Central Luzon, Southern Tagalog, Calabarzon, and Mimaropa, Bicol region, Western Visayas, Central Visayas, Eastern Visayas, Western Mindanao or Zamboanga Peninsula, Northern Mindanao, Southern Mindanao or Davao region, Central Mindanao or Soxcargen, Caraga Administrative Region, CAR, and Metropolitan Manila. Pero as of today, the Philippines is subdivided into 17 regions, 8 in Luzon, 3 in the Visayas, and 6 in the Mindanao. These regions are not local government units, but their existence is primarily for administrative purposes. Thus, in each region, a city is designated as the center where each of the national government agencies have a regional office. Here is a list of regions in the Philippines. The Region 1 is the Ilocos region, Region 2 Cagayan Valley, Region 3 Central Luzon, Region 4A Calabarzon, Region 4B Mimaropa region, Region 5 Bicol region, Region 6 Western Visayas, Region 7 Central Visayas, Region 8 Eastern Visayas, Region 9 Zamboanga Peninsula, Region 10 Northern Mindanao, Region 11 Davao region, Region 12 Soxcargen, Region 13, Caraga, NCR, the National Capital Region, and the CAR, Cordillera Administrative Region, and the last is BARMM, the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. These regions are comprises of provinces which are subdivided into districts. The district consists of municipalities with a number of barangays. It has 81 provinces, 145 cities, 1,489 municipalities, and 42,029 barangays. Philippines is represented by a variety of ecosystems, forests, ponds, grassland, valleys, plains, rivers, and seas. The Philippines is one of 18 mega-biodiverse countries of the world, containing two-thirds of Earth's biodiversity and between 70% and 80% of the world's plant and animal species. The Philippines is also one of the world's biodiversity hotspot with at least 700 threatened species, thus making it one of the top global conservation areas. Viewing biodiversity at the ecosystem level is a holistic way of appreciating and analyzing the natural richness of our country, taking in consideration the dynamic ecological function and interaction of both the living and the non-living parts of the biosphere within a given location, as well as the impact of natural phenomena and human-caused environmental changes upon them. Forests on mountain slope, characterized by a diversity of natural vegetation, provide materials for food, medicine, and building shelter and natural habitats for wildlife. Mountains are particularly important for our country, especially our biodiversity. Water, clean air, research, cultural diversity, leisure, landscape, and spiritual values. But what is less well known is that the Philippines is a mountainous country too. Indeed, our country is a home to hundreds, maybe thousands of mountains, from solitary peaks lording over entire landscape to ridges and pinnacles massed together in long and lofty ranges. Some mountains have been regarded as site for spiritual regeneration. Some of our indigenous people is believing in some sacred grounds such as places regarded as holy within the religions. These places usually serve as a grounds for communication with the spirit world, especially to the deities and ancestral spirit. In the Tagalog region, some people find Mount Makiling and Banahaw as mystic mountains for reflection and recreation. According to the legend, Mount Makiling in Laguna is the abode of a goddess named Maria Makiling who protects the forest that covers the mountain. While sa Mount Banahaw along the Quezon border is also considered a powerful energy source for pilgrims, spiritualists, and cults, having a blend of both indigenous and Catholic beliefs and rituals. There are also three major mountain ranges are situated in northern Luzon: the Sierra Madre, Cordillera Range, and Caraballo Range. The Sierra Madre. The northern Sierra Madre is considered one of the most important of the protected areas of the Philippines. It is the largest and longest range in the country, faces the Pacific Ocean on the eastern coast of Luzon. It begins near Apari and proceeds further Isabela, Cagayan, and Aurora provinces. The southern part of Sierra Madre includes Aurora, Bulacan, Rizal, and Laguna provinces. It is considered one of the most protected areas system in the Philippines because it is the country's richest in terms of genetic, species, and habitat diversity. It is a mountain range that called backbone of Luzon. Sierra Madre stretches across roughly 1.4 million hectares of land, spanning 10 provinces. It is about 500 km in length, and it also encompasses no less than 68 protected areas in the Philippines, including marine reserve and natural parks. The Cordillera Range is the mountains in the western part of northern Luzon are parallel to Sierra Madre Range. The Cordillera extends from Ilocos North down to Benguet and La Union area. The Cordillera Central or Cordillera Range is a massive mountain range 320 km long north to south and 118 km east to west. The Cordillera mountain range is situated in the north-central part of the island on Luzon. In the Cordillera Range, Mount Pulag is the second highest peak in the country. Cordillera region has two prime commodities of metallic mineral reserve, gold and copper mines. In Cordillera Range, matatagpuan yung Banawe Rice Terraces o hagdan-hagdang palayan ng Banawe. It is the terraces that were carried into the mountains of Banawe, Ifugao by the ancestor of the Igorot people. The terraces are occasionally called the eighth wonder of the world. It is commonly thought that the terraces were built with minimal equipment, largely by hand. The terraces are located approximately 1,500 meters or 4,900 feet above the sea level. These are fed by an ancient irrigation system from the rainforest above the terraces. It is said also that If the step were put end to end, it would encircle half of the globe. Nariyan din ang Baguio. City of Baguio amidst the mountain region of Cordillera is one of the most popular vacation destinations in the country. The name Baguio conjures for both the international and domestic traveler. A highland retreat in the Grand Cordillera in northern Luzon with pine trees, crisp cold breeze, and low verdant knolls and hilltops. Through the numerous decades, Baguio has morphed from what once a grassy marshland into one of the clearest and greenest. It is also most highly urbanized cities in the country. It has made it mark as a premier tourist destination in the northern part of the Philippines with its cool climate, foggy hills, panoramic views, and lovely flowers. Due to its cold mountain weather, Baguio is considered the summer capital of the Philippines. The Carbonel Range is a central plain in Luzon. The Carbonel Mountains is a mountain range in the central part of Luzon Island in the Philippines, situated between the Cordillera Central and Sierra Madre mountain ranges. The mountains are served as a location of the headwaters of the Cagayan River, the longest in the country. On the southwestern coast in Luzon is the Zambales mountain range. It extends from the shores of western Pangasinan to parts of Bulacan and Bataan. Zambales Mountain, a volcanic range in the southwestern part of northern Luzon in the Philippines. The Zambales Mountains are rich in minerals and their slopes are densely forested.
Hello everyone, I am one of the reporters and I will be discussing the continuation of our topic. So, volcanic mountain ranges represent thick segments of crust that form by addition of thick piles of volcanic rocks, generally above a subduction zone. So, in Mindanao, there are four major mountain ranges. First, the Diwata Range, and then the Tago Upper Range, and the Kalatungan Kitanglag Range, and of course, the Daguma Range. The Diwata Range borders the Pacific coast and west of it lies the valley of Agusam. And Mount Diwata, also locally and officially nicknamed as Diwalwal, is a remote 1,261-meter high-range volcanic mountain and biodiversity area in Davao Region on eastern part of Mindanao Island of the Philippines. Taga-Apo Range on the other side forms a parallel ridge to Diwata Range. Located in the area are the Balatucan Mountains, the volcanic peaks of Kamikin, Kimabalin, Kumakata, and the Mount Apo in Davao del Sur, which is also the highest mountain in the country, which is 2,954 meters high to be specific. In Visayas, the most prominent mountain ranges are found across major islands. The islands in the Visayas have the mountainous terrains except Samar and Bohol. Let's proceed to the Kalatungan Kitanglag mountain range, which includes Mount Bitog, Kidongin, and Ragang, which is situated in Lanao provinces. The Daguma Range extends near Sarangani Bay in south. Okay, let's proceed. Volcanoes at the boundaries of the Daguma Range are Mount Bilik, South Cotabato City, and Mount Parker, west of General Santos City. Let's proceed to our... So, how many volcanoes are there in the Philippines? The country has over 50 volcanoes wherein 22 are active. The most active among them are Iraya in Batanes, Pinatubo in Zambales, Taal in Batangas, Banahaw in Quezon, Mayon in Albay, Bulusan in Sorsogon, Canlaon in Negros, Hibok-Hibok in Camiguin, and Makaturing in Lanao, and of course, the Apo in Davao del Sur. Mount Pinatubo, which has been dormant for 611 years, started to emit fumes on April 2, 1991 after a hydrothermal explosion at volcano's crater took place. The most destructive series of eruptions were on June 12 to 15, 1991. Its ashfalls reached as far as Metro Manila, Mindoro, Palawan, and as well as Cambodia to the east, in which it worsens the damage of the ozone layer. Several places in provinces of Zambales, Tarlac, and Pampanga, including Clark Air Base in Angeles City, were filled with pyroclastic flows and lahar. Lahar is the Indonesian term for volcanic mudflow. Devastation to public and private properties were greatly unfavorable, placing these areas under a state of calamity. The lahar deposits along Mount Pinatubo still cascades down the lowlands after heavy rains. These volcanic mudflows are expected to last for years. They continue to defy the billion peso dike built to contain lahar flows. Okay, so let's proceed to Taal Volcano. Taal Volcano is a regular tourist drawer. It is a volcano within a volcano. It is arising from a lake, which is the crater of larger volcano, now extinct. It is a part of chain of volcanoes along the western side of Luzon. Subsequent eruptions between 500,000 and 100,000 years have built up the current Mount Taal, an island known as Volcano Island in the lake. Since 1772, Mount Taal had 33 recorded eruptions, with violent ones occurred in 1749, 1754, 1911, and 1965. So world famous for its near-perfect conical shape, had its first recorded eruption in 1616, and the name was derived from the Bicol word Magayon, which means beautiful. It continually emits a plume of smoke even when it is not erupting. Mount Mayon had a history of at least 47 eruptions. In 1814, it erupted disastrously, destroying 5 towns surrounding its base. During the height of volcano's fury, 1,200 people who took refuge inside the church of the town of Casagua, which is now called Daraga, were killed. Ruins of the church tower solely remain above ground after the tragedy. So let's proceed to Canlaon Volcano. Canlaon Volcano had erupted 6 times in 1985 and thrice in 1986. In the year 1989, it had a minor eruption. Fortunately, this did not cause any destruction. If you wonder why they are so-called hot springs, there are some volcanoes whose hot rocks beneath are being penetrated by groundwater. When the heated underground water reaches the surface, hot springs are formed. The hot springs are used as baths in the houses and resorts around Mount Makiling and Mount Bulusan. Topographic evaluation less than 600 meters in altitude are considered hills. The most popular of these in the country are the Chocolate Hills, with more than 1,000 of them in Bohol. Fun fact, during the dry months of February until May, these dome-shaped limestone hills turn chocolate brown as the grasses wither. Apparently, that is why it was named as Chocolate Hills. Chocolate Hills is one of the geological monuments of the country. One The other four national geological monuments are Taal Volcano in Batangas, Mount Talban Caves in Rizal Province, Sand Dunes in Ilocos Norte, and of course, the 100 Islands in Pangasinan. The Department of Environment and Natural Resources, or the DENR, Philippine Tourism Authority, or the PTA, and the National Committee on Geological Sciences, or the NCGS, issued the Declaration of National Geological Monuments to highlight the protection of geological structures and features with high specific or aesthetic environmental value. These geological monuments would serve not only as travel destinations in the country, but also as laboratories for geological research. Okay, so let's proceed to large rivers. Large rivers traverse the principal islands of the country, and the Cagayan River is one of the famous among all of the rivers because it is the longest river in the country and with the length of 513 kilometers. It flows from the Caraballo Mountains near Nueva Ecija or Nueva Vizcaya to Nueva Ecija provincial boundary and proceeds down into the Babuyan Channel in northern Luzon. Other important rivers in the country are Chico River, Abra River, Pampanga River, Bicol River, and Pulangi River, and of course the Agusan River. Now we have the straits. Between Samar and Leyte is the San Juanito Strait, or also known as the narrowest strait in the world. Laguna de Bay is the largest freshwater lake in the Southeast Asia. Deepest among the Lake of Laguna is Lake Calibato, which is 176 meters deep. This is brought about by low silt inflow from its small watershed area. The downstream flow of the Lake Lanao propelling hydroelectric plants supply around 3/4 of Mindanao's power requirements. In the middle of the tropical blue and emerald green waters of the Tufusi and Palawan lies the Tubataha Reef, just one of the sandbars and reefs known for its beautiful dive-sited and marine resources. Seabirds, turtles, giant clams, and other marine animals have been settling in the area. The reef covers an area of 12 miles within the island municipality of Cagayan Silio in Palawan. In August 1987, the reef was declared a national marine park, and it gained greater distinction in the international recognition where the UNESCO named Tubataha a World Heritage Site. We also have Boracay. Boracay is the perfect island gateway because it is known for its warm blue waters, powder fine white sand, and a palm fringe for kilometer beach. Located in Aklan Province, Boracay is accessible by air from Manila to Cebu. The largest plain in the archipelago is the Central Plain here in Luzon, known as the rice granary of the Philippines. The surrounding greenery yields vegetables, tendrils, sprouts, flowers, and fruits. Among the famous Philippine fruits, we have the lanzones, sweet mango, and the durian, and many more.
Philippine is rich in terms of its biodiversity of flora, and when we say flora, it talks about flowers, and there are 10,000 species of flowering plants and ferns in the country, and some of them are sampaguita, gardenia, dama de noche, water lilies, orchids, and a lot of more. And of the 1,000 varieties of orchids that bloom in the country, the waling-waling, or its scientific Vanda sanderiana, is regarded as the queen of the Philippine orchids. So why this referred as queen of the Philippine orchids? Because it is the most rarest, most beautiful and most expensive orchid species that are found in our country. However, this orchid species is regarded or considered as critically endangered because of overcollection and habitat destruction. So this is an image of waling waling. Now, let's talk about woods. If I ask you, what do you think is the famous wood in our country? If you answer Nara, you got it right. Yes, Nara is one of the famous of the Philippine woods, and it is proclaimed as the country's national tree in accordance with an exclusive proclamation by Governor General Frank Murphy dated on February 1, 1934. Nara became our national country kasi nga yung Nara kilala bilang sturdy and durable. So, this became our national tree because it symbolizes the indomitable or the Filipino indomitable spirit and strength. So that's why this became our national tree. Next, mangroves. So mangroves are among the significant ecosystem that characterizes the coastal areas of the archipelago. They are considered minor forest type compared to mixed lowland tropical rainforest ecosystem. If you're not familiar with mangroves, these trees are usually grows in saltwater or brackish water. So they are referred as forests of the sea. Unlike yung mga ibang plants or ibang trees na nabubuhay land, but these mangroves usually lives or grows in water. So mangroves are beneficial especially to the coastal dwellers as they provide poles for shelter, wood for cooking, and charcoal as domestic energy source. As a source of income, nipa sap for tube and vinegar, nipa shingles for roofing, and ground for aquaculture. Also, the mangrove-dependent fishery products include shellfish, shrimps, and mangrove crabs. And in addition, these mangroves like us will help prevent erosion of riverbanks. So in conclusion, yung mga mangroves is provides both economic and ecological benefits to the coastlines. So this is an image of mangroves, and as you can see, it grows in water. Now, let's talk about seagrass communities. So, seagrass communities are dynamic ecosystems where rhizomes and roots of seagrass stabilize the nearshore bottom. Seagrass beds filter suspended sediments from the water. So, in short, yung function ng seagrass is mini-maintain niya or ni-stabilize niya yung nearshore bottom as it filters the materials that deposited by the water, for instance yung carbon na dinadeposit ng ocean. So pinifilter niya yun, and this what makes an incredible tool in fighting against climate change. And out of 58 known worldwide, the Philippines has reported 16 species of seagrass communities. Imagine, out of 58 na species ng seagrass is matatagpuan yung 16 dito sa bansa natin. And in addition, seagrass is the only food of the dugong or seagull. So, this is an image of seagrass. Next, our country also abounds in animal life, and of the 201 species of mammal in the life of country, 179 are terrestrial and 22 are marine, wherein the Philippine carabao, which is a swamp type of domesticated water buffalo, has been an important work animal. So this became our national animal. And other animals include several species of deer, wild and domesticated pigs, cattle, rodents, reptiles, birds, and mollusks. Some unique animals in the world are also found in the Philippines. For instance, the tamaraw or Bubalus pindorensis of Mindoro, which looks like a dwarf carabao, the tarsier of all, which is considered as the smallest monkey in the world, and the Calamian deer or Cervus calamianensis or Pilandok of Palawan, which is considered as the smallest deer. So unfortunately, some animals are near extinction or called endangered species. When we say endangered species, ito yung mga species na malapit nang maubos due to various factors like habitat destruction and such. So yung mga endangered species, this include the Philippine eagle, the tamaraw, and the tarsier. And in 2004, the Convention of International Trade in Endangered Species or the CITES, Appendix 1 released by the Protected Areas and Wildlife Bureau listed 27 species of flora and fauna in the country. So yung flora, ito yung mga flowers, and the fauna, and it talks about animals. So may 27 species na daw na nakalist na endangered na species na matatagpuan dito sa ating bansa. So, also we have 25 species of insects in the islands. So some of them are giant moth or the Attacus atlas, wherein this is the largest insect in the country with a wingspan of 1 foot. And the largest and smallest bats in the world are found in the country as well, wherein the lesser flat-headed bats or the lesser bamboo bats weigh around 2 grams. And the golden crowned flying fox weighs about 1.5 kilograms and it has a wingspan of 1.7 meters. So, itong dalawang species ng bat is matatagpuan sa Olongapo City, Zambales at the Subic Bay Forest Reserve. So this is an image of the insects that I've said a while ago. Giant moth, golden crown flying fox, and the lesser flat-headed bats. Now let's talk about the Philippine eagle. So Philippine eagle or the Pithecoba jeffrey is the world's second largest after the harpy eagle, which was found in the Amazon forest. So, before, yung tawag sa Philippine eagle is monkey-eating eagle kasi nga, yung perspective nila or yung kaalaman nila is yung eagle daw is kumakain ng monkey. However, in the 1970s, its name was changed because they found out na yung eagle daw is occasionally lang kumakain ng eagle. That's why pinalitan nila ng pangalan. And its main food or yung kinakain ng eagle is consists of flying lemurs, lizards, and snakes. So, itong eagle na to, it measures 5.5 feet in height and a wingspan of 7 feet. Also, the Philippine eagle also earned the title as King of the Philippine Birds. And in 1996, the Philippine eagle was officially named the national bird of the country by virtue of a presidential proclamation. So, Philippine eagle is considered to be one of the largest and most powerful forest raptors. However, gaya nga na nasabi ko kanina sa previous slide, Philippine eagles is considered as endangered species because maraming nag-hunting and deforestation. That's why near to extinction or is considered as endangered na siya. So, itong Philippine eagle is also found in Luzon and Mindanao. Next, other interesting birds in the country are the calaw, which the Spanish colonizers dubbed as clock of the mountains. The catala or the Philippine cockatoo, which mumbles and croons like a man, and the tiny Philippine falconet, only 6.5 centimeters long. So this is an image of catala. Next is the glory of the sea conus Gloria Maris, which is the considered as the rarest shell, and the Tridacnagigas, the world's largest shell, and has a length of 1 meter and weighs 600 pounds in the world. 600 pounds. And the Pisidium, the smallest shell, and it is less than 1 meter in length. So these shells are also found in our country. So these are the images of the shells that I've mentioned. The glory of the sea conus Gloria Maris, Pisidium, and the Tridacnagigas. Now, in 1995, De La Paz and Comes recorded a total of 2,140 species of the Philippine fishes. Among the commercially known fish found in numerous fishing grounds are the bangus or the millfish, dalag, dilis, lapu-lapu, galunggong, tangini, lamban, and parilas. So these fishes are found in our country, and these fishes are commercially known kasi ito yung mga usually natin nakikita. However, this also some of the fishes or species of fishes that nakilala. Next is the endemic freshwater species. So, the endemic freshwater species are considered endangered. When we say endemic, these are the species that exist only in a particular region. And so, yung mga endemic species natin are tawilis, sinarapan, and pygmy copy. So, these are the species that found in our country. So, tawilis is a freshwater species of sardines and are found in Lake Taal, Batangas, while the sinarapan, the smallest commercial fish, and can only be found in Lake Puhi and Lake Pato, Camarines Sur, and it measures between 1 and 1.4 centimeters. While the dwarf pygmy cobia, or locally known as tabios, the world's smallest vertebrate, which ranges from 7.5 to 11 meters, is said to be the dwelling in Canapotas and Malabon rivers, and it is strongly believed that tabios is already extinct due to water pollution. So, gaya nga nung sinabi ko kanina na this freshwater species or these freshwater species are endemic, wherein they are restricted in their localization and geographical spread. So the chances of this species are getting endangered and extinct more. That's why we need to prevent this to happen. So we need to save this species in order to survive and reproduce. Now, these are the images of the endemic freshwater species that are found in our country, which is the tawilis, pygmy cobia, and the sinarapan. Okay, so kapag mga in terms of fishes, hindi lang mga small fish yung makikita sa country natin. Matatagpuan din dito sa bansa natin in our country the big fishes, and it is the whale shark, wherein it is the world's and it is considered as the world's largest fish, and it is 50 feet or more in length. And it was first sighted off the coast of Mariveles, Manila Bay in 1886 by Filipino fishermen who called it pating bulik or strip shark. Now, the Philippine archipelago has rich deposits of gold, copper, iron, lead, manganese, nickel, chromite, silver, and other metals. Non-metallic minerals include coal, salt, asbestos, clay, marble, and limestone. So these are the minerals that can be found in our country. Since Since our country is also rich in minerals, gold mining became an ancient industry. That's why the Filipino were already mining gold before the coming of the Spanish conquerors. And Filipino mining gold in Paracal, Camarines Norte, in the mountains of northern Luzon and the islands of Masbate and Mindanao. So Mount Tiwalwal, which is located at Compostela Valley Province, has been the site of gold rush since 1983, and the Bureau of Mines officially attributes the discovery of gold in the vicinity to the members of the Mandaya tribe. Yung Mandaya tribe, sila yung mga first people upstream, and they have a high regard and high respect for nature as it is the umbilical cord of their tribal life. So that's why the Bureau of Mines attributed the discovery of gold to them. And gold nuggets were found, and those who have entered and engaged in small-scale mining were able to gain a lot from this business venture. Why? Because yung naturally, or yung 1 gram na gold nugget, which contains 85 to 95% of gold or pure gold, is worth $380 during the year of 1983. And if you convert it to peso, that would be around 17K, I guess. So talagang yung mga taong nag-engage sa small scale mining within those times is they were able to gain a lot from it. Kasi nga isang gramo lang, malaki na yung kinikita nila. So this is the image of gold nugget. Next, na hindi lang Mandaya tribe yung invested sa mining. Kasi even yung mga Igorot invested din sila. So since pre-colonial times, the Igorots have been mining copper in the mountains of northern Luzon. And Mankayan, which is the oldest and largest copper mine in the country, still exists. And other copper deposits are found in the country of Surigao. And the world's largest deposit of nickel has been discovered also in Nonok Isle of the coast of northern Mindanao. And the vast marble deposits are found in Mindoro, Romblon, Palawan, Cebu, and Bicol, while deposits of gold are in Cebu, Sorsogon, Masbate, and Cebu Peninsula. See, there are numerous of mining sites that can be found in our country. That's why some of them are still existing even up to this now. Now, let's talk about Spratly Island. This Spratly Island is distributed archipelago in the South China Sea, wherein it is composed of 100 islets, reefs, and atolls with a total landmass of less than 5 square kilometers. And what makes Spratly Island hold potentially significant is that due to its marine ecosystem and gas and oil deposits. That's why there are countries trying to take over this island from the Philippines. And kabilang na dyan ang China, Taiwan, Vietnam, Brunei, and Malaysia. And the dynamic or the dramatic increase of Philippine crude oil production was primarily due to the development of deep-sea oil deposits beneath the natural gas-bearing structure in the Malampaya field. Malampaya field is the deep-sea water gas condensate reservoir, and it is the country's largest undertaking in the oil production or in the oil industry. That's why there's an indeed dramatic increase into the production of crude oil. So this is an image of Spratly Island and the Malampaya field. Now, upon gaining knowledge with the discussion that we have along with my group mates, we could arrive into a conclusion that Philippines is really an amazing country, as our country is very rich in terms of its biodiversity of flora and fauna and other species that can be found in our country. However, there are few species that was listed and considered as endangered species. Thus, we need to reflect from our actions and do everything that we do to preserve and to save and preserve our natural resources, as we all depend on biodiversity. As we all depend in biodiversity to survive, both economically and ecologically. So, this is the end of my discussion, and I hope you have learned something. And if you have queries or clarifications, you can just comment it down below, or you can just send it through RJC. That's all. Thank you and God bless.